Hi, Divine Souls. I'm truly grateful you're here with me in Oriah Divine Sanctuary, a space dedicated to healing, awareness, and spiritual alignment. If this video has appeared in your life today, trust that there may be a message here meant specifically for you. If the words shared here resonate with your spirit, I encourage you to like, share, comment, and subscribe so we can continue building a community centered around truth, healing, and higher consciousness. Earlier today, during meditation, I allowed myself to slow down, to breathe, and to simply be present. And in that quiet space, I began to tune into the energetic frequency of the collective, sensing what many people may be navigating on their spiritual journeys right now. And from that awareness, this message emerged. One of the greatest forms of freedom a person can experience is learning to own their story. Not just the beautiful chapters, not just the victories, but the entire story, the failures, the disappointments, the betrayals, the losses, the mistakes, the healing, the transformation. Many people spend years trying to hide parts of their story because they fear being judged. They fear being misunderstood. They fear that if people knew what they've been through, they would be seen differently. So they shrink, they silence themselves, they carry shame that was never meant to become part of their identity. But here's what many people eventually discover: the parts of your story you avoid often become the very places where healing is waiting. Psychologically, shame thrives in secrecy. Shame tells people, hide that. Don't talk about that. If people knew, they wouldn't accept you. Your past defines you, but healing challenges those beliefs. Healing teaches you that your experiences are chapters, not your identity. Something happened to you, something you survived, something you learned from, but it is not the entirety of who you are. This is why owning your story is so powerful, because when you accept your story, you stop fighting yourself, you stop spending energy pretending, you stop carrying the burden of hiding, and you begin integrating all parts of your journey into a stronger sense of self. Now, let's be clear. Owning your story doesn't mean sharing every detail with everyone. Wisdom still matters, boundaries still matter, discernment still matters. Not everyone deserves access to your deepest wounds. But there is a difference between privacy and shame. Privacy protects, shame imprisons, and many people confuse the two. Spiritually, owning your story often means recognizing that God can use even painful chapters for growth, not because the pain was good, not because the betrayal was justified, not because the suffering was deserved, but because healing allows purpose to emerge from places that once felt hopeless. God's word promises, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Romans 8:28. Notice the verse doesn't say all things are good. It says God can work through all things, even the difficult chapters, even the painful seasons, even the moments that nearly broke you. And that's why owning your story matters. Because when you refuse to acknowledge your journey, you also risk disconnecting from the wisdom it gave you, the resilience, the discernment, the compassion, the strength, the growth. And there is another powerful truth. When you own your story, other people's attempts to weaponize it lose power. Many people live in fear of being exposed, fear of being judged, fear of someone bringing up their past. But when you've already accepted your journey, there is much less shame for others to manipulate. You know who you were, you know who you are, and most importantly, you know who you're becoming. So what happens when you own your story? You stop seeking permission to heal. You stop apologizing for surviving. You stop letting your past determine your future. And you start recognizing that every chapter, even the painful ones, helped shape the person you are today. Your story is not evidence of failure, it's evidence of resilience, it's evidence of growth, it's evidence that you kept going. So stop hiding from your story. Stop minimizing your journey. Stop carrying shame that doesn't belong to you, because your story is not your weakness. It's one of the greatest sources of wisdom, strength, and purpose you will ever possess. And when you finally own it, no one else gets to define it for you. Divine souls, thank you for stepping into Oriah Divine Sanctuary. This space exists to support your healing, elevate your awareness, and guide you through the sacred process of personal transformation. Here, you are safe to grow spiritually, emotionally, and authentically, and it is truly an honor to share this journey with you. Always remember, awareness begins the healing, but your transformation begins the moment you choose to honor your voice. Until we meet again, continue walking in truth, protecting your peace, and letting your divine light shine.